So today we'll be doing topic 9, which is basically unit costing, job costing. So we'll be doing job costing and contract costing. So before we try understanding what is this job costing, let me try understanding what is the difference between unit costing and job costing. Anyone, guys, anyone, what's the difference between unit costing versus job costing? Okay, what did I say unit costing is? Okay, job in a unit costing, what happens is the products what I produce are identical products. That is, I use my raw material, labor, and overheads to produce identical products. For an example, when you are trying to manufacture, let's say, a Swift car, Maruti Swift, if you look into it, does all the Maruti Swift cars look the same? Right? The cars are identical in nature. So that's why if you look into it, what we did, we tried finding the cost of the product by doing total cost divided by the number of units. Do you remember? Arjun only taught you, I guess, yesterday. Do you remember? Correct? Now what happens in a job costing is you are trying to incur a cost of one job, that is whatever raw material, whatever labor, whatever overheads I am incurring, that will be only for this particular job. Let's try an example of trying to build a house. If you are trying to build a house, you will be charged for what? Whatever is the design of your building, whatever is the raw materials you want to use. Yes or no? Each house, is it all going to be different or all going to be same? Guys, different, right? So since it's a different product, the cost of identifying the total cost whatever I am incurring will be only for that one job. Are you clear? So it's actually quite easy to understand what's a job costing. Boss, whatever money you have spent for this particular product, add up everything, that becomes my total cost. Are you clear? Because it's just one job, right? So whatever I'm spending, you will be charged to it. At your house, see, let's say for an example, there is a wedding function happening. Okay, there's a wedding function happening. When the wedding function is happening, let's say somebody is coming and taking a contract for food. What will he charge you for? Will he charge you just for making food of your wedding, or for everyone's wedding he is going to come and try recovering it from you? What will he do? Naveen was the first one to say only my wedding. Naveen is in a Josh. My wedding, it seems, Naveen. Yeah, so it's just going to be for the wedding which is going to happen at the family, right? Only whatever your family is going to spend. Naveen thought it's his wedding only. Yeah. So let's just try understanding. So whatever cost, whatever food items you would have ordered for, only those are gonna get charged for you. Are you guys clear till now? Now, in terms of a job costing, what we do is we try maintaining something called as a job cost sheet. Now, what is a job cost sheet is, it will basically keep all the track of material, labor and overheads which are for this particular job. For each job I make a job cost sheet which will have the details of what is the material issued for this job, what is the cost incurred on labor for this job, and when the job is completed, what is the percentage of overheads to be added. Are you clear? Done. Now, if you see this, I want you guys to see this carefully just to understand how is it going. I have cost of material, cost of labor and cost of machinery overheads. If you see material requisition number, do you remember this somewhere? Yeah? Material requisition. What is material requisition? This is basically the production department requesting the stores department for requesting it for the materials. So, when the production department is requesting the stores department for the materials, right, they are going to be putting across the request number 123 is for job number 1, so that it gets properly recorded in my job cost sheet. Are you clear? So, see here, the material used for this job, they are saying material requisition number 150, 160 per 25, 175 per 100. So, totally 85 rupees worth of material was used. Then direct labor number of hours and the rate per hour has been given, so that you get the total rate. Now, see here, manufacturing overheads. Does it strike you guys where what are we talking of? Do you guys remember this? Correct? Is it overhead allocation? It is overhead absorption rate, right? My overheads are going to be absorbed based on the labor hours. So, they have given me the overhead absorption rate. So, whatever my labor hours is, I will be multiplying them with this. So, I will get the cost of overheads to be recovered. So, when I do this, I will end up getting the total cost of the job. Does it, do you have any doubt? Shreyas, Pratham, Priyanka, Suresh, any doubt? So basically, if you would have understood, I am only trying to take the cost of a job and then putting it across. Now, something you need to understand. Let's say I thought for this job 100 units of raw materials were required. Units of raw materials were required. Okay, but basically used in the products was only 80 units. The raw material required was what? 100. You purchased 100 units, but the product got completed with 80 units. What will you do with the remaining 20 units? What will you do with the remaining 20 units? This remaining 20 units, guys, remember the customer is coming only for that job. So there is no concept of carry forward. You guys are not in the chapter. Job is only one job. So either I do it or I don't do it. So there is only one job that I am doing, right? So if in that particular job, if I am not able to use, no scrap, what you will do is you will transfer it to the other job through a material transfer note. Will transfer it to another job through what note? Material transfer note. Are you clear? Now the next concept is, how do I treat a spoiled and defective work? Now what is the difference between a spoiled work and a defective work? A spoiled work, when I say, this basically means something which is totally rejected. That means it's damaged in such a way that you cannot rectify it and reuse it. Are you clear? Whereas when I say defective, defective means the product is not perfect. There are some smaller damages. So what I will do is I will rectify those damages by incurring additional expenditure and make it as a good real product. There has been a damage, I will rectify those damages and then I make it available for sale. Are you clear? Any doubt till here? Now I want you guys to read this carefully. We have already covered this. When it is a defective, right, when you are trying to produce any product, there is always going to be a certain percentage which we allow it to be deductive. Now when a certain percentage is allowed, right, what happens is that since it's a normal part of it, it will be taken care by the completed units. If you remember the normal loss, what was happening in case of a normal loss? Normal loss were getting absorbed by the good units. Are you clear? Perfect, Pratham, correct. When, let's say, this mistake happened because of the labor, somebody, let's say a guy while stitching, he did a mistake. Now if it's a mistake because of a wrong workmanship, what happens is it is going to be treated as a loss. But let's say if you tell, let's say I'm a tailor, I am trying to stitch this particular pant. Now the pant size became bigger or the longer than what initially it was supposed to be, right? Now whose fault was it that he did not cut properly? Tailors, right? Now the company can either write it off as a loss, or if they have made a provision, let's say I am telling Suresh to say, boss, if you cut the length little longer, then I am going to be deducting it from your salary. Now what is happening here? The loss which is happening, there is a provision to recover that loss, right? There is a provision to recover the loss. Done? This provision to recover the loss, okay, this loss whatever is there, right, this loss whatever is there, since I am recovering from the workman, I don't have to be bothered of treating of a loss. If it is because of the poor quality, then I will be transferring it to the costing P&L. Are you clear? Abnormal loss logic remains the same. Abnormal loss goes to costing P&L. Normal loss gets charged to the gets recovered by the product, and if there is any provision for recovery, then the loss gets recovered against the penalty, so I don't have to bother too much. Clear, Farin? Guys, see this question. A shop floor supervisor presented the following cost for job number. He says direct material is this page, direct material, blah blah blah, and analysis of the profit and loss account. It is also noted that the average hourly rates for the three department rates are similar. Prepare a cost sheet, calculate the entire revised cost using the actual figures as basis. Add 20% of the total cost to determine the selling price. Did you guys read through the question? Done. Now let me make the cost sheet. Let me make the cost sheet. What is my direct material cost? Already given. My direct material cost is 70. Direct wages, there is department X, Y and Z. 8 is working for, X is working for 8 hours, Y 6 hours, Z 4 hours, multiplied by 2.50. What the Pratham 70? So that comes to 20, 15. So my total cost of labor is 45. Chargeable expense is the direct expense, which is 5. So therefore it is how much? 70, 120. Done. Now let me come to the overheads. Overheads. Now overheads, just see the question, is there anywhere I can get any clue about the overheads? See the question carefully, is there any clue that I get regarding the overheads? Right? Do you know labor hours? Pratham, do you know labor hours for the entire year? Because you know you have to require budgeted overheads divided by my budgeted base. Do you know the labor hours for the entire year? I had told you guys earlier, if I do not have details about the machine hours or labor hours, then I will be going as a percentage of material cost, labor cost or prime cost. Guys, see how do I do it in the exam? First thing, I always check, do I have a details of the machine hour and labor hour? Do I have the details of machine hours and labor hours? The answer is no. Second step, I try checking, do I have the material cost, labor cost and prime cost per department? What is available in these three? I need per department cost, so or else I might have to use a blanket rate. So before I go in for a blanket rate, let me just try understanding, is there correct? So if you see guys, material cost, I know it what is there for total. Labor cost, I know what is there for per department. Prime cost also I know it for a total, I don't know it per department, right? In this case, what I do is I'll use it as a percentage of prime cost. Done. I can not use it as a percentage of prime cost, rather I'll use it as a percentage of labor cost. Now how do I do it? See here, in actual for department X, it is 5000 divided by 10,000 into 100. correct? See, my overheads is 5,000, my labor cost is 10,000. That means what does it say? It says 50% of labor cost is equal to direct material cost. Sorry, 50% of labor cost is my overheads for department X. Are you clear? Same way for the department Y, 9,000 by 12,000, that is 75% will be for department Y, 2,000 divided by 8,000, that will be 25% for Z. So, see here, once this is done, I multiply with the labor cost 20, 15 and 10. So, I will end up getting the overheads for the 3 departments. Guys, again I am just trying to recap. I told you guys it can be either as a percentage of material cost or a percentage of labor cost or prime cost, machine hour or labor hour. Since I don't have details about machine hour or labor hour, I can do it as a part of my Is everyone clear with this? They want the selling expenses to be what? 20% of the total cost. See here, they are using the term 20% of the total cost. So, if I try taking 20% of the total cost, see in this part, add 20% to the total cost. Guys, sorry, it's actually done a mistake. So, add 20% to it, that becomes your selling and distribution. So, I am done with my, sorry guys, I am done with my work cost. I have to add my selling and distribution. Now, selling and distribution, is there any information given here? Is there any information given here about selling and distribution? Guys, in this particular paragraph, is there any information given about selling and distribution? Okay, I'll give you guys a clue whenever in exam you end up getting like this. See, what happens is, usually for your job costing question, they would have given you one data, either that is either actual or the budgeted. Okay, from here you have to make a job cost sheet. Okay, I have a data which is either actual versus the budgeted, and then I have a job cost sheet to be done. Now, in the budgeted data, they say, I'm trying to take an example. Prime cost is 1 lakh, overhead is 20,000. Okay, overheads is 20,000. Therefore, factory cost becomes what? 1,20,000. Okay. In the job cost sheet, they are saying prime cost is 20,000. Can you find the overheads? Guys, understand this example so you will get your job costing all the questions right. They have given you one data. In one data they are said this is the analysis what we have done. The company's prime cost is going to be 1 lakh and overheads is going to be 20,000. Therefore, the factory cost is 1 lakh 20. They want you to find out a cost of a product. Okay. The prime cost is 20,000. Can you find out the overheads right now is the question. Can you find the overheads? I'll say yes boss. Why? Because I'll try taking the analysis and say okay, for 1 lakh if it is 20,000, for 20,000 rupees prime cost, how much will that be? Right? So it's going to be 20%, which is going to be 4,000, which comes to 24,000. Now they are telling, see here, selling and distribution is 48,000. Selling and distribution is 48,000. Can you find out the selling and distribution for the job? How much is it? 9,600. How did you get 9,600? Because you took this 48,000 divided by 1,20,000, then you multiplied with 24,000, which ended up giving you 9,600. Does anyone have any doubt in this? Guys, I am teaching you the basic concept now so that it becomes easier. Anyone has any doubt here? Now, I want you guys, whatever we have applied now, let's try using this in the question. Okay. He gave me this information. He wants me to give a job cost, right? Based on the actual figures. He's saying these are all budgeted. I want you to make a job cost sheet based on the actuals. Okay. Direct material we did 70. Direct labor, if you know, we did X. This much and all we got 120. Now I had to come up with overheads. Now overheads, I had multiple ways of doing it, so I did it based on the labor cost because there were departments involved. Now I have to add my selling expenses. There was no information given, but I can go back to the data and see my selling expenses was 20,000 for a work cost of 2 lakhs. That means what? For a factory cost of 2 lakhs, my selling expenses was 20,000. So how much percentage is that? 10%. So in the given job, I am going to take 10% of the works cost as selling and distribution. Does anyone have a problem now? Done. Then on the total cost, you have to add up the 20% of the cost as profit, that will give you the selling price. Are you clear? Job costing, the story ends here.